Hi everybody, I'm Mike Mercurio and I'm a principal with the law firm Offutt Kerman. Today I have the pleasure of sitting down with John Fenzel. Is there a principle or two that you take from your military service, public service, that you now have pulled into and is now applicable in your business when you coach CEOs or you coach entrepreneurs?
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of them, and I think that we first of all we all have a lot to learn from one another as well. But one of my main principles is that leadership isn't something that's exclusive. It's inclusive, and we all are leaders in our own right. So my belief is that we all lead through our own example. Now, some do it better than others, and it's really all about that. It's also about being able, as you mentioned, to tell your stories, because leaders have the ability and they know that stories are probably the best vehicle to be able to lead and to influence. And so that's really the premise. But it's also in being able to talk about leadership and get people to actually internalize those lessons. Is that you can do the presentations, you can do the seminars, you can do the classroom piece, and that's positive. But what's most impactful is when they can internalize it through their own experiences, when they can see it, they can smell it, they can touch it, and that's when you really do learn those lessons, and those become internalized. And so what we try to do is we bring people. We're fortunate to be here in the Mid-Atlantic. You've got all these battlefields. You've got Revolutionary battlefields and Civil War battlefields, and so I spent a lot of time, for instance, up in Gettysburg. And so it's not just the 2-hour tour to tell you what happened, but it's also about the discussion about why it happened and what were the critical decisions that were made and how did they go about making them, what were the mistakes. So it's a lot of fun, and it's also something that gets people thinking.
You reference leadership, and I'm curious, do you think people are born leaders or leadership can be taught?
I think everybody is a leader in their own right, as I mentioned. But I think that it's not easy to teach it. Some of us, leadership comes easier for some of us than others. But if you're able to get people to experience those decisions and how they've been made in the past, for instance, walking in the footsteps of a key leader in our history, for instance, at that point, that's when it becomes personal, and that's when you realize, what. I can see that. I can see why Alonzo Cushing was able to stay and right there, at the angle and at the last moment, all the way to the death, and fighting, for his country, or see Joshua Chamberlain, or and even on the negative side, seeing people like General Dan Sickles. So all those are just examples of Gettysburg, but there's so many others. And if you're able to apply those to the corporate setting or to a personal setting, your family setting, then at that point, that's when everything starts to come together.